If you're struggling with your practice routine, if you don't know where to start, if you feel that there are too many things that you could do, or maybe you want some new ideas for your practice session, then this video is for you. So make sure you stick around until the end. Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. My name is Jacopo Lazzaretti and in this video I'm going to talk about something that every musician will have encountered or explored at some point in their life, and this is the practice routine. The reason why we need a practice routine is because we need that container, that safe space inside which we can explore, make mistakes and eventually improve so that our practice and our playing becomes better and better every time. When it comes to the practice routine, there are a few steps that we need to take. The first one is the environment. We need to take care of the environment because whenever we're entering a new space, we want to prepare ourselves for the things we're about to do. We don't just want to jump in cold from one thing to the next one. So there are two types of environment. There is the inner space and the outer space. For the inner space, these are a few questions that you can ask yourself before starting. So, how am I feeling? And then, how do I want to feel? And also, what can I do to shift my mindset? For what concerns the outside space or your room, there are a few other things that you want to do. So first of all, you want to minimize and avoid at all costs all the distractions. So make sure you turn off your phone, you put it in another room so you can focus on the guitar, on the music, and on your practice. Also, you want to make sure that you have all the tools that you need, your instrument, your metronome, your tuner, your music stand, and so on. You want to make sure that your room is warm enough, you don't want to practice in a cold room, and also that there is enough light for you to see. In short, you want to have an enjoyable and comfortable practice session. So these three things are very important. And then there is the last thing, which is the cue. So how do you cue to yourself that you're about to start your practice session? Now, some people might journal, some people might do some breath work, some people might meditate, some people might tune the instrument, or some other people like myself will start their practice session with a cup of coffee or a cup of tea, depending on the time of the day. The second step is the warm-up, and we need to warm up in order to prevent any possible injuries. When I'm talking about warming up, I'm not just talking about the finger warm-up, but also the body warm-up. The body warm-up is actually particularly useful because it connects us with our body. Usually we're very much in our mind, and the body warm-up is usually useful for that. Now, body warm-up that I usually do is the BAPAM, Don't Cramp Your Style warm-up. Now I'll put a link down below so you can check it out, and please do it because this is very important. For what concerns the finger warm-up, again, really gentle and simple movements. So for example, for the right hand, you may do some rest stroke exercises, some free stroke exercises, maybe some rasgueados. Then for the left hand, you can do some simple pressure exercises, so some chromatic movements, maybe some simple slurs, and so on. And then hands together, you can do some scales. Again, these are simple exercises to get you started. It's not the actual practice session. When it comes to step 3, which is the actual practice session, of course we're thinking about the technique work, the problem solving work. For example, if you have a new piece, and then if you have a piece that you're about to perform, we're going to talk about musicality work and interpretation. In terms of practicing methods, my favorite practicing methods are chunking, because we really need to make things small for our brain to understand, and slow practice, so we can really understand how to go from one note to the next one. Two more things for your practice session. First of all, the mood. Now, sometimes you think you're practicing, but you're actually playing. And sometimes you're playing, actually maybe you're practicing. So I think it's very important to be crystal clear in which mode you are. Sometimes you'll go in between both. Sometimes I practice, then I go into play mode, and then I go back into practice. Sometimes these two modes will need to be very distinct. So I think it's very important that if you're practicing and if you catch yourself playing, so you're not problem solving, you're actually enjoying your instrument, which is fine, make sure you stop yourself and then you come back to the practice. Or if you're playing, if you start repeating things over and over and over, then you're actually practicing that case. So the mode is very important. And then the last thing, which is the first thing that I think you should do in a practice session, is set a goal. So the reason for having a goal is that it clarifies the reason why you're practicing. So like a very simple question could be, what do I want to work on today? And then to make it even simpler is, how can I improve this thing that I want to work on today by 1%? Now these two questions will help you make your practice laser focused, and for sure it's going to be much easier to improve. The last step is about cooling down and reflecting. Now for cooling down, you can do some very gentle breathing, you can play an easy piece, you can do some light stretching, just something that signals the body that the work is finished. And then in terms of reflection, again, it's always useful to reflect on how the practice went, and then also you can start to think about what you can do the next time. So then the next day, for example, when you're practicing, you don't need to start thinking about, oh, what am I going to do? You already have something to work with. So again, a question is, how can I improve my practice for the next time? Or what's one thing that I can do the next time I'm practicing with my instrument? Now, before finishing this video, I would like to conclude with my own personal story about the practice routine. And I've been playing the guitar for 20 years, and I've always tried to find the perfect practice routine. I've experimented with lots of things, tried all sorts of different things, and eventually I came to the realization that there is no such thing as the perfect practice routine. A practice routine is something flexible, it's something that will change depending on your level, depending on your stage. And so my suggestion for you is to keep experimenting, keep trying new things, and actually enjoying the process of creating something that is ultimately yours. So I can tell you what works for me, but at the end of the day, you want to find something that works for you. So this is my invite for you to really try as many things as possible and make the practice routine yours. As always, please, if you're new to this channel, subscribe. If you've enjoyed this video, either like the video or drop a comment. And if you like to explore more in detail my practice routine, you can find the link in the description down below where you can download it. So until next time, thank you for watching and see you soon. Bye.